Hi everyone. Yeah, so there was some issue with the network, so I thought it would be better to do it this way. So I want to talk more about gaming and NFT and DeFi and how all these three things fit together. So I will not spend a lot of time talking about Reef, but I want to still tell you how Reef fits into the whole NFT and gaming situation. So as I was talking earlier, Reef is extremely scalable and affordable blockchain, meaning that if you want to mint a badge for, like, for example, the Africa Gaming Guild, it will cost like a few cents and instead of a few dollars. So the barrier of entry is really low. And then it's not just the barrier of entry, but as you play the game, you are getting more NFTs, more you have to mint NFTs during playing the game. So all of these transactions, they cost some dollars, and the issue with other blockchains such as Ethereum is that the cost is so much that certain people throughout the world, for example, the Africa and Asia, it costs a lot to do this, and they're excluded. That's why what we are doing with Reef, we have a division that's fully focused on helping existing projects adapt their game for Reef, and we're also helping gaming guilds such as Africa Gaming Guild to easily onboard them on our platform. So what's happening here is basically this gaming situation and all the NFTs and the items, they existed before in the non Web3 world, but there was a big problem. If you take a look at the Steam ecosystem and games like Counter Strike and Dota, all the items in the game, they're controlled by the company that is issuing them. So your account can get banned whenever they want. They can issue new items, so they can dilute the value of your inventory. You don't have as a even as a long-term player, you do not have any governance access. You cannot decide which character gets like improved skills or which character gets nerfed. Or nerfed means like certain skills are like a little bit toned down because it's too strong. So basically, the game developers have 100% of the governance. They can decide to do whatever they want, issue new items, issue new heroes, etc. And sometimes this is really not good for the gamers because they're in their basically it's in their power to dilute the value of your inventory, or maybe your competitive advantage. So what's happening now in Web3, the whole gaming sphere is getting completely recreated in a Web3 way. And what I mean by Web3 way is basically you have the game, but the game economics are not attached to the game developers anymore. The economics are set at the beginning, and then there is governance. All the players, they have certain voting power, and they are able to control where the game is shifting. And this is very important on the long run because again, the game is not centralized anymore. It's completely decentralized. There is no single administrator. Your items cannot be taken away from your account just like that. So it's a completely different way of thinking when it comes to gaming. Uh, Additionally, if you see all these items in the games, there are certain creative assets. So you have designers behind that produce them. And the issue with the Web2 gaming is that all these designer houses, they are internal, again, centralized. So you, even if you have some great idea about improvement of the game, adding additional items, adding additional characters, you cannot really influence it because this you have to be part of their company. You need to be hired in their company. Well, if you participate in a Web3 kind of game, you are part of the community, and the community is the core pillar that is governing the game. So this is a very important factor because again, the game is not dependent anymore on like a single person. So that's a big one. And you as a designer, you can contribute your creative skills easily. So what our job at Reef is? Reef is the platform on which all of these games are being created. So all the users, they need to be onboarded on Reef in order to be able to play these games. And what we've made is we've made it super easy for users to create a wallet on Reef. You can just go on app.reef.io, you can create a wallet, you can install the extension. It's super simple. So we've really focused on user experience, and I believe in the long run, similar to how Apple with the iPhones did, the user experience, and whoever has the best onboarding experience will win on the long run. And then besides that, what we're also doing is we've created like a fund of a couple of $1 million that's dedicated just for gaming. So what this does is we are able to support games from the very beginning. So if even if you're a team of 2, 3 developers that have some cool idea to create a game in the in Web3 style, we are able to support you with the grants. So the grant can start from couple of $1,000s all the way to a couple of $100,000. It depends on which stage the game is and how big the company is and what progress was done in the last couple of months. And that's just the grant part. So what we do is if the game is in a more mature state, if there are already 50 people, they need to raise money. And this is also something that we can help with because we have a huge network of VCs that is supporting our ecosystem. And all these VCs are interested in also contributing to games that are built on top of Reef. So we can also connect the game developers with the investors, and then this way they can raise money easily, especially with the fact that we are behind them. We were in supporting the project from the very beginning. This also adds a lot of weight, and then it's gonna be easier for these investors to make decisions. Besides this, so these are the two things that we are doing when it comes to supporting the gaming sphere. But now we are also working on a third one, which is we are working with some creative studios that are able to produce assets, and these studios we can basically plug them into certain game, and they can produce assets, and then we can help with minting those assets, and then we can subsidize the minting, and depending on the game governance and mechanics, they can be even either airdropped or they can be earned. And that's when you have, and this is where it becomes very interesting because now people are inventing new models of how the game can work, and what is it for the very early gamers, and what it is for the game developers in the whole ecosystem. So that's where we have play to earn. We have now games where the economics of the games are created in such a way that they reward the user for playing the game. So as you get better in the game, as you spend your time, you're engaging with the network, you're engaging with the community, you're contributing to the game. And then the game itself, so the game is built from the ground up to reward people like this. So you're not, there is no single entity or single like person that is rewarding you. Like the reward is for sure guaranteed by the code, by the game itself. Um, so what this does, this opens a lot of opportunities for people that really wanna, spend their time gaming, because now they are able to earn, and over time it seems to me that the amount that they can earn is getting better and better. So it's not anymore just esports and competitive gaming, which was extremely, and it still is extremely hard. The distribution is very, very steep, where you have like only the 1% of players are making most of the money. Now in the Web3 way, this distribution is way better, where you do not have to be the best player in order to earn money. So again, this is one more important aspect that couldn't exist in the traditional Web 2 way, but now with the blockchain technology and with blockchains like Reef, this can become a reality, and it's already becoming a reality. And then you have these gaming guilds, and Africa Gaming Guild is one of them that we are working very closely with, and we are supporting in every possible way we can. What happens here is if you're a player, you might like certain types of games. You might like an MMORPG game like World of Warcraft, or like StarCraft, or you might want to play a first-person shooter game like Counter-Strike, for example. And what happens in these guilds, this community decides which games are going to be played by the community. And as a whole, this community has a lot of power, of bargaining power, where they're in a position, because there are so many players, that they can arrange very interesting, very interesting terms for the gamers. And then based on that, now all these games, they need to offer better terms in order to attract these gamers. So as you can see now, it's shifting a little bit. So far, all the players were going to the games. Now the games are going to the players. So now you have the guild with all the players, and now you have all these games coming to you, and they're like, hey, come, this is our game, please help us improve this game, become early player in the game. This is the terms, this is how the game works, this is the governance, this is how the NFTs are created, these are your projected rewards. So if you keep playing the game, this is projected how much you will earn through by playing the game. So now the games are coming to the players, and this is a big shift in the gaming industry. And we as a platform, we make sure to easily adapt first our thinking framework around this new paradigm, and second, support all these games to be able to onboard these users easily. But it all starts from the players, and that's why we are really focused on supporting players from day one. And by supporting guilds like Africa Gaming Guild, we are basically supporting the players through this. I strongly encourage people to become part of this guild. And as you can see, this guild already has a bunch of games that they've talked interesting terms with. They might receive some items and in form of NFTs. And then what happens is the guild can give you or like lend you the items, and then you're playing with these items in the game. So that helps you to earn more. So if you were not part of the guild, and if you're a single player, you don't have that advantage, because you have to start from zero. You do not have this item, and this item might be worth a couple of $100. And by the time you get to a point where you can buy the item yourself, maybe the game progressed, and that item is not as important at that stage anymore. Now there is a new NFT that might be important, so it's always a little bit out of reach for you. That's why it's always better to go through a guild, because the guild understands the mechanics of the game, and is closely talking to the core developer team to also understand the economics of the game. And then they have a negotiating and like bargaining power as a whole, and then the game can give them certain inventory that they can then like send to the users who are interested in playing this game. So things like this have not been possible, and as you can see now, it's a few building blocks, but you can create so many combinations out of it that over time people come up with some really really crazy models that are actually sustainable when you think from game theory and economics point of view. When you see people like they combine certain models with these building blocks, you can see how big of a potential this whole industry can achieve. And then you have DeFi. So when I talk about game economics, I mean DeFi, because the way the economics are created on the smart contract, they're created in a decentralized way. So finance economics created in a decentralized way is DeFi. And then you need the NFTs, which are the items and the inventory that are again part of the DeFi, part of the game economy. So as you can see, all these three things work together. If you see, like, there in every game that we've played, single player or multiplayer game, there is always game economics, and now we can finally recreate them in a different manner. And I think when it comes to DeFi, gaming is the biggest is the closest brother that will help show the potential that DeFi has. So yeah, this is important aspect, and as we've seen in the last couple of months, you have all these games. Their market cap has been going through the roof because of a lot of interest, and I think this industry is just getting started. It's a super early stage, and it's a very good timing to get into this now. And again, if you're a developer, uh, feel free to get in touch with us. We offer the grant program. We have a couple of $1 million of fund that we give to game developers and gaming guilds. And if you're a single player, then you should follow also us closely with which guilds we are collaborating, and Africa Gaming Guild is one of them. So we strongly encourage you to also join this guild, mint the badge, and then follow the development, contribute in the development. You can add your own opinion. You can join their telecommunication channels like Telegram and start discussing there. And it was always the case that from when someone joins something very early, they usually get rewarded as soon as the whole project becomes bigger. And now, the market is not the best, but timing wise, it's the best time to get in now. So that's basically it from my side. How I see the gaming landscape, how NFTs and DeFi's fit into the whole ecosystem, how those things are building blocks to something even bigger, how the players are in a big advantage in Web3 compared to Web2, where in a big disadvantage, how the games are recreated in a different decentralized way. So all of these things are super super revolutionary, and Reef as an EVM compatible, super scalable blockchain is at the frontier, helping, supporting all these projects, supporting all these guilds. So I encourage users to follow us closely and to follow Africa Gaming Guild closely, and then you will see how big this whole industry will grow in the next couple of years. Um, since this is a recorded video, since the live stream was not super reliable, you feel free to shoot also on Twitter if you have any other questions. I will make sure that our team will get back to you. You can also send your questions on our Telegram channel, and feel free to learn more about Reef. You can go on reef.io. You have the documentation there. Everything is explained. And then also, I encourage you to join the Africa Gaming Guild as soon as possible, because so many big things are coming for this project. Thanks again for attending. It's a pleasure, and thank you for hosting.